It's pretty crazy because I thought that when I started this YouTube thing that it kind of meant that I had gotten past the fear of failure. And yet, you know what's weird is my last video I did has done way better than I ever dreamed it would do. And I've gotten so many amazing comments from people cheering me on or whatever. And it's really strange because something unexpected happened. And that was that it kind of raised the bar of expectation for me. I went into that video thinking maybe I'll get 10 views. I don't know. And I've gotten way more than that. And now just feeling the encouragement from people all around the world, um, feeling the bar get elevated like that, I really had a hard time putting this video together because I just didn't want to fail. It's just what it is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And I slip into this like overthinking pattern. What about this? What about that? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Not pacing. And, it's weird. It's like I want to do things that distract me from it. Like all of a sudden now, like, oh, yeah, I'll drive you there. I'll give you a ride. It's just crazy. Anything to kind of like pull myself away from this thing I'm doing right now because I don't want to fail. And it just reminds me of my childhood so much. And what I've learned in my life is that from a young age, I remember being able to pick up a baseball and for some reason just naturally being very good at it. And I remember getting the praise from people like, whoa, you're so good, and feeling really good about that. But then at the same time, being in a classroom was a nightmare for me, and I didn't do well. And I would see other kids doing well, and they made it look so stinking easy, and I was struggling like crazy. And then on the baseball field, I saw kids struggling like crazy. I couldn't even throw, and I was over there, and it was so easy. And I just kind of walked away with this idea that people are either good at something or they're bad at something, and that mindset is what I've come later to find out is called a fixed mindset. And I think that fixed mindset really set me up, where I have this like pattern of thought, this this deep seated belief that if I'm not good at something, it says something about me as a human being. Like again, if I'm good at baseball because I'm just naturally good. It's just in there. It's just who I am. I'm bad in the classroom because I'm just naturally stupid. It's just who I am. And so when I would see something that looks like failure, that I would always perceive that as something about me. It says something about me as a human being. And that's a hard pill to swallow because you start to like label yourself that way. You start to identify with that. And I mean, who really wants to feel that, right? I know in school I started to find ways to like cope with the feeling that I was a loser, that I was stupid and just a failure. And I would find all these like little tricks, playing hooky or whatever, any cheating, whatever it took to stop having to constantly receive that message of you're a failure, you're a loser, you're a failure. And and then what oddly enough what ended up happening was something very similar to what I felt with this video, which was when it came to baseball. When it came to baseball, I I didn't even try out for my high school team because I had people who believed in me. And here I was a loser in these other ways, but I thought maybe I was good at this thing. People believed in me. They thought I was good. And I didn't want to like do anything to tear down that image. I didn't want to do anything that would destroy that. I didn't want to hurt them. I didn't want to hurt my mom, my coach, whoever. I didn't want to hurt them and let them down. And I also didn't want to ruin this belief that I had about myself that maybe I am actually good at something. Maybe I was born good at something. And and so it was like I just didn't even try anymore. I'd rather walk away. This is how it was for me. And I carried this into my adult. This has been just a lifelong battle that I would rather not do the thing at all for fear that I might come away with this message that was a failure. I'd rather cling to the dream that, oh, I could have been a Major League Baseball player than to actually chase the dream. I didn't want to be confronted with the message that I was actually just a failure at that too. And this pattern just repeated over and over again, so I would avoid things and do stuff like that. And it was just this really pernicious thing that showed up even with this video. So it's like, I know it's not really gone. There's just something I have to do to counteract it. And this YouTube thing, I want to do this. Like, I really want to do it. And I can't let that fear of failure get in the way. And it's like, even with something like this, like maybe this video sucks. I don't really know. I don't know what's a good video and what's not a good video. I have no idea. I just know that this has been my experience. This has been my battle. And I just feel like I just have to be real with it and be honest with it. And so I put that out there. And so what I've learned, and in these last couple of years, something I've been trying to really work on with in my own mind, is that there's another way to look at things, which is called the growth mindset. And I'm really trying to train myself to look at things that I would have once upon a time called like failure, that look at them more like they're just learning opportunities, that they don't mean something about me, Daniel Moss. They don't mean something about me, like internally, like there's something wrong with me. They just mean that I'm in a process of growth, that each failure is just an opportunity. I try to like wake up and say to myself things like, well, today I get to, and you could fill in the blank, today I get to go to the dentist and get my tooth pulled out. Otherwise I could be dead right now and not even get to do that. Like, I should be thankful for that. But I try to approach things more from that kind of perspective. And so even with failure, it's like, I get to do this thing. I get to learn from this thing, and I get to use this thing as a way to grow. So like, is this YouTube video good? I don't know. It could be a total flop. It could be a failure of a video. I don't know. But I don't want to sit there and not find out. I don't want to sit there and just not try anymore. I can't do that anymore. And so that mask that I wore before, where I would just avoid things and try to look like a, whatever, something that I wasn't, just so that I didn't have to look at the failure and then internalize it. I try to flip it around and say, no, I want to fail. I want to learn and grow and try things. And that is the pathway toward becoming better, little by little by little each day. And ideally someday reaching my goals and doing things like that. But I know that it's an important part of my journey, So that's kind of the first part of this thing with the fear of failure for me. That's realizing that whole thing about having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. It's a really important part of my journey. That's only step one. Step two was learning about shame. In the book Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, she talks about the effect that shame can have on your life. And I walked around with a lot of shame because of how I saw myself, growing up, just knowing that I was avoiding responsibilities and always trying to get out of things. I actually felt a lot of shame for that. But it was like, either feel the sting of failing and being, kind of a loser that way, or feel the sting of avoiding. But at least with avoiding, maybe people didn't really know I was doing it, and I could kind of like fly under the radar, and it was all part of wearing my mask. In my last video, I talked about that, how I've been wearing a mask for a long time. I've been lying. Well, Brené Brown points out that that shame that you carry, and we all probably have some level of shame, that shame that you carry, the worst thing that you could do is to not talk about it. That when you don't talk about it, that shame just grows and grows and grows inside of you. It gets stronger all the time. And that the best thing you can do is to start to speak on it. Let people know. Open up about the fact that you struggle with this. You feel shame here. You feel shame there. And the moment you do that, you start to clip its wings. You start to cut its legs. You start to immobilize it. You start to bring it down to earth and not allow it to rule your life anymore. And so once I started to realize that I was afraid of failure because I had the wrong mindset, I had a fixed mindset, and then I realized that I had a lot of shame. Um, I had a lot of shame because of my avoidance as a result of that failure, or the fear of failure. Once I started to kind of pick up on that, then it just came down to like kind of having the strength and the courage, I guess, to like speak on it, be open and honest about it, um, and allow people to kind of keep me accountable to things, hold my feet to the fire. It was just something that was like very uncomfortable for me because it meant I had to start doing some things that I have been avoiding for a very, very long time. But it is the pathway to feeling good about yourself. It is the pathway to having the life you want. It is the pathway to peace. I have not had peace in my life for a very long time, where I can't sleep at night, where I'm just miserable. I'm grumpy. I'm just not happy with myself. I've had this lack of peace for so long, where I watch other people. I remember being in like middle school, and I was in choir because the first couple years of middle school in choir, I could just lip sync and I didn't have to actually sing a single note ever, and I could just get an A, and it was the easiest grade I could get. And so I was in choir for that reason. But I remember when in eighth grade we got a new choir teacher, and that choir teacher actually made us try out, and we had to sing in front of the whole classroom. And I remember like finding a way to kind of go last on that tryout. And I watched some of my friends who were telling me how scared they were to do it go up there. I know they were scared to death to do it. They went up there and they did it, and I remember just being like so proud of them. Like, just like, how do they do that? How do they get up there and they do that, even though they've just told me how scared they are, you know? I'm scared. And I can't do it. And so then when it was my turn to go up there and sing, he hit the key on the piano and he said, "All right, sing that note." And I just was so quiet. He was sitting right next to me. He couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear me. He's like, "All right, he hit it again. You got to be louder." And it was the same thing. He hit it again. You got to be louder. And I said, um, "Is there any way I could transfer into a different class?" He said, "Yeah, you could." I said, "Okay. Can I go now?" And he said, "Yeah, you can if you want." And I did. I walked out of that classroom, and I've carried that shame. And it's a shame of like the fact that I didn't do that uncomfortable thing that I saw my freaking friends do it, and I didn't do it. And it's been cool because um I've seen my kids, my youngest son, get up there. I could tell he's feeling some of the same things that I felt, but he's in these like musicals as a homeschooling kid, in these like co-ops that we do, right, with other homeschoolers. And he's getting up there and he's singing, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's the most beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful thing I could see. And it's kind of like amazing. Like, how is he doing it? You know? And I couldn't do it all those years ago. And I'm figuring it out now. And in my last video, I had a lot of people leave. Um, I had a lot of people leave some like really amazing comments. Gosh, I swear I don't know why I cry about this stuff. It's crazy, but some really amazing comments, and this stuff is it means a lot. It means a lot, and I really appreciate that. And a lot of encouragement in there, and I feel that encouragement, and it's just really cool to be able to say like, I'm on that path. I'm doing it. I'm sick and tired of living in that kind of fear. I'm sick and tired of being in that prison that I had created for myself, that I couldn't sing a stupid note in front of a class, you know. Um, I was always like so inhibited with everything, every single thing. So tired of living like that. And so that's even what this YouTube thing's about, man. Getting in front of a camera is like one of the least comfortable things I could possibly think of. Doing this, crying in front of people around the last video, I had someone from Fiji on a boat in Fiji, you know, someone from South Korea reaching out to me. It's like people around the world are seeing these things. It's like the weirdest thing to me. It's so uncomfortable, but it's exactly what I need in my life. Exactly what I need in my life, to be stepping out and doing this kind of an uncomfortable thing. It's a real battle. It is a real battle. And I understand it. If you're going through it, I understand it. I just want to encourage you. And so I would say, look at those things in your life. Like, you know, what are these like labels that you've taken on that you don't need to take on? That you are amazing how you are. Just honestly, if you just strip it back, take off the mask, you're amazing how you are. What is that shame that you feel that you need to let out? What is that shame that you got to just start speaking to people and let them know, you know, that this is what I carry? Start figuring those things out. You know, a lot of people talk about fear of failure. Just do it, right? And that's kind of their advice, and I understand that, but I think it sometimes goes a little deeper than that, you know? I'm gonna be doing more videos in the future where I go into some more of these type of things, you know, unearthing things in my life, and in the hopes that as I unearth these things in my life, it will be something people can connect with, something that people will resonate with, that maybe it can like give a perspective, an angle that people hadn't looked at it from, and maybe it will give you, just even if it's just a little bit of comfort or a little push in the right direction. Like I said, I had never heard these things before. This is all new to me. I'm 40. I'll be 46 in a few days, and I had never heard this stuff before. And it's weird because I don't normally go around crying, but there's something about unearthing this and the freedom that I feel as a result of it. I just don't care anymore. I don't have to be a tough guy anymore. And I don't have to walk around with that shame, and I don't have to wear that stupid mask anymore. I'm just gotta be me. And for some people, me being me is not good enough. And that's okay. I'll figure out who those people are. I'll love them anyway. And, but I'll know where they kind of fit into my life. And then the other people, me being me is good enough. Cool. I'll love them. And I'll know where I fit into their life, you know? But I just got to be good with me. I got to be good with me. And you got to be good with you. So, anyway, if this is the kind of thing you want to subscribe to, you know what to do. If not, it's all good. If you don't like watching someone turning into a crying baby, then it's all good. But I hope you're good, and maybe this encouraged you. That would be amazing. Be an honor to have any part in anything like that. So, and last video, all of you who encouraged me, lots of love to you. I appreciate that. And I send it right back to you. Means a lot. Means a lot.